thousands of children are going back to school tomorrow after a 2-week break due to the coronavirus peak. Many parents are concerned. So let's speak to Basic Education Department spokesperson Mhlanga about the plans to keep the children and teachers safe. Elijah, thank you very much for your time here on eNCA. Now, more pupils are expected to head back to schools tomorrow. Is the department ready?
Good morning, Masegrahlaga. Yes, the department is ready. Remember that schools have already been running from the 3rd of August with grade 12s, and the following week we had grade 7s in school. And on the 17th of August, we had all our teachers and non-teaching staff back at school. That means that the system has already been warm, and people were already in the offices to prepare for the number of grades that are coming back tomorrow, and those that will be coming back on the 31st of August.
Now, as you know, the DA has written a letter to the Minister of Basic Education, Mhlanga. They are still raising some concerns, particularly with the school nutrition program, saying that 8 out of the 9 provinces are actually failing the pupils who need these meals. Are they telling the truth?
Well, we know that when we run the school nutrition program, we run it in schools. And with the learners going back to school in their numbers tomorrow onwards, we will be able to reach more learners. We had a challenge with some of our learners not coming back to fetch the meals because that was the only thing they were coming to school for. But we sent out an appeal to parents to please release their children to come fetch the meals. And parents did come. And we have seen this happening in all provinces. All 9 provinces, in fact, were feeding. So that one is a matter that is ongoing, and with schools going back now, it should be easier to manage because the school nutrition program is a school-based program, and with learners coming back, we should be able to feed all our learners that benefit from the program.
So, but I just want to know, with the DA's allegation that so far, even with the schools reopening since the 3rd of August, they are alleging that 8 out of the 9 provinces in terms of education have not been able to actually provide these meals to pupils. Can you check that? Are you sure that this is untrue?
It's completely incorrect. We have images that we have been posting on our social media platforms, but information that we've also been sharing via our engagement with other stakeholders that indeed there's evidence that all provinces have been feeding. What we have not been able to achieve is 100% coverage. But in terms of whether provinces are feeding, all of them have been giving the meals, have been giving food parcels to the beneficiaries of the school nutrition program. We made it easy by saying that you don't necessarily need to go to the school where your child is enrolled, or as a learner, you don't need to go to your school. You can go to any school closest to you to go collect the meal or the food parcel, whether you alone as a learner or with your caregiver, parent or relative, someone who will ensure that it is safe for you to make it there and back without any challenges.
Now, just to remind us a little bit, Elijah, exactly which grades are joining the grade 7s and 12s tomorrow? Is it all grades, just to remind the viewers?
No, it's not all grades. It's grade R, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 at the primary school level. And at secondary school, it's grade 9, 10, and 11. They're joining grade 12, so have already been in school. So those are the grades, and the remainder will join on the 31st of August, which is next week.
Now, Elijah, I'm just going to ask you, can you just take us into your confidence in terms of the Minister's presentation that's expected in Parliament on Tuesday? Can you probably take us into your confidence to let us know what exactly would be in her presentation?
Well, the presentation will talk about the work that has happened since we started preparing for schools to go back. Remember when schools were forced to close in March? We immediately started the process. So the minister will talk about all the work that has happened, the work that provinces have done in terms of the provision of COVID essentials, those being sanitizers, masks, and water sanitation as well. She will talk about the agreements and partnerships that we've had in that regard to try and provide for these basic necessities in schools for us to be able to create a conducive environment for learning and teaching in the new normal, which requires us to be extremely careful about the physical environment, which should be safe for learning, which should be safe for working as well, because we have had to work within a situation with restrictions now having to observe social distancing, having to sanitize all the time, washing hands, while still continuing with the business of education, is teaching and learning. So all of those things are going to be talked about, but we'll also talk about examinations, which are coming up at the end of the year, particularly for those that are in grade 12, because their curriculum has not been trimmed. So there will be talk about the measures that have been put in place to provide support to them, but also the rest of the schooling system to say what is it that we've done in terms of the school calendar and how are we supporting learners and parents alike to continue to come to school, because we want them to be in school for learning to continue. So it's all of those things, among other things, but the detail, of course, as we've mentioned, will come out on Tuesday when the Minister talks to parliamentarians.
Well, thank you very much. That's Mhlanga, the spokesperson of the National Education Department.